Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Extra Point. I'm here with Callie and Zach.
Yep.
And first thing off, we're going to start talking about the Houston Astros. Oh, my gosh. You couldn't tell this guy was a Houston Astro fan.
No, not at all. I'm not an Astros fan. Why would I be an Astros fan? No.
He's got his World Series hat. He's got his Houston hat. He's got his pullover. So talk about that game real quick. Well, the whole series. It was a good series.
What an incredible baseball series. Fittingly that this team would have to win 7 games. And I just can't say enough of how proud I am of this Astros team. You know, this year in general for Houston's been a rough one, you know, with Hurricane Harvey happening and just the whirlwind that went on with that. Astros had the hottest start in baseball to start the season, best record ever. And then they hit the lull, and then Harvey happens, and then it hits the reset button, and then just all of a sudden, we only lost 3 games the rest of the way at home. The rest of the season, including postseason. This is an incredible run, and I'm so happy for the citizens of Houston, and sad I can't be there. Watching everything that went down with Hurricane was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Not being able to be there, not being able to help out, and that was just what was more frustrating to me and sad to me is watching all that. But wow, I mean, I can't say enough how much this championship actually means to the city of Houston, and just to do it the way they did it. Game 2 and Game 5 in this World Series are probably 2 of the best games you'll ever see. The way that Houston was able to battle back and just get the win. Game 5, I can't stress enough at how important of a win that was. Ended up winning 13-12 in 10 innings. It's just a marathon game.
Have you seen the Sports Illustrated cover?
Yes. Yeah, how about that? Yeah. And for those who don't know, in 2014, in June 2014, I think it was June, it's sometime in there in the middle of the summer, Sports Illustrated puts out an issue talking about how the Astros have been rebuilding. And at that time, they were in the middle of their probably 3rd straight 100-loss season, or was about to be in the middle of their 3rd straight 100-loss season. And they put out this article on the front page that said the 2017 World Series champions, and had a picture of George Springer on it, who last night ended up winning the World Series MVP, oddly enough, and saying that and claiming that this will be your 2017 World Series champion. How about calling that shot? That's one of the greatest shots ever called. So, but it just proves that, you know, hard work goes a long way. The Astros had this system and plan built through the draft, built through analytics, go through everything associated with that, and it just paid off tremendously in the end. And not only, I mean, I don't want to put too much value into this win. Whenever you look at this team, it's so ridiculously young. Obviously, they got their core veterans, but this is a young franchise that has a lot of players coming back to it. So this may not be the only one that Houston gets, but for right now, I'm just going to enjoy the first one ever. This is the first time since the existence of a Houston baseball team since 1962 that they've been able to claim a championship. And Houston's where I grew up, so I couldn't be more ecstatic about this.
Well, Zach, we're really happy for you, and we're happy for the Houston community.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
well-deserved.
It is a well-deserved. They're still rebuilding from Hurricane Harvey coming through there. So congrats, Houston Astros fans, and everyone that's out there. Let's get moving on to high school. Last week, Coffee County beat down White County.
Yeah.
Tullahoma lost in a fairly close one to Maplewood. Franklin County pulls the upset against Shelbyville. Moore County lost to Mount Pleasant. You know, and a loss like that can also determine where you wind up in the playoffs, and Moore County actually made the playoffs. Fayetteville lost. Huntland won, so Huntland got an extra win on the season. Lincoln County lost, and Grundy County lost. To look at the season, Tullahoma finished 5-5. Mm-hmm. Coffee 3-7. Both are out of the playoffs. Franklin finished up 5-5, out of the playoffs as well. Huntland finished up 2-8, is out of the playoffs, of course. Lincoln County 3-7 is out. Grundy County 3-7 is out. Teams that are in: Moore County 7-3, they are in at number 2 seed. Fayetteville 6-4, the number 4 seed, and Shelbyville is in with 5-5, but they finished number 2 seed.
Yeah,
so shows you got to win that region.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk real quickly about the Tullahoma game. Zach, you were there.
Yeah, it was a good close game all around. Just Tullahoma couldn't hang on toward the end of the ball game, and Maplewood ended up getting the win. It was unfortunate. Tullahoma looked like they were gonna get the win to cap off and go 6-4 on the season. Just wasn't able to do it. Some key turnovers really hurt Tullahoma. Nick Barstad had a couple interceptions in the end zone. Or one specifically in the end zone that really hurt Tullahoma. But of course, then you get some good plays. Kobe Burks has a 50-yard interception return right before halftime that puts Tullahoma in front. Unfortunately, that was the only.
They didn't score in the second half.
They didn't score in the second half, so they got shut out. But had sustained some injuries, some key players getting out of the game. I don't want to talk about the injuries because I'm not exactly sure what they are.
And we'll talk about their season in a second. Now that was an exciting game you were at, Franklin County pulling the upset over Shelbyville. I don't know if it was getting upset, but
Well, I think it was the week before Shelbyville comes in and beats Page, and I don't think a lot of people saw that win coming. It was a big win for them, securing that playoff spot. But Franklin County, the biggest thing about this game was the little things. Shelbyville never was able to score an extra point. The one time that they did go for the 2-point conversion, they weren't able to get that. And then there were some crucial turnovers that happened in the game. So these little things that kind of added up. And also, Jerry Johnson, it's important to point out, broke the record for most consecutive touchdowns in a single season that was held by Terry Van Zandt. I think he played in the 70s, I'm pretty sure. I'd have to look that. But it's been a long-held stat, let's say that. And he broke that Friday night. So a big game for Jarius, who's also a senior and will be leaving the team this year. And we're sad to see him go because that's a big asset to them. But it was a very exciting game, 4 quarters of football.
Well, let's talk about the season real quick before we move on and go to the playoffs. Both Tullahoma and Franklin County, both 5-5. What about Tullahoma moving forward, Zach?
They got a lot of players returning, and this is going to be interesting for Tullahoma. They had only 8 seniors total on this year's football team, so they got a lot of depth coming back next year, which would help them out tremendously. I'm interested to see at the quarterback position. Nick Barstad was a senior this year, so I'm interested to see how the quarterback position develops for next season. And of course, they were led by Amari Burks, one of their running backs. I want to see after he leaves what type of void that's going to fill for Tullahoma. But from what I see coming back, specifically on the defensive end, there's quite a bit of juniors this year who are coming back to be seniors next year, who I think will really step up for the Wildcats. And I think it'll be a pretty good season for Tullahoma next season.
What do you think about Franklin County? Where do they stand?
They've got a lot of young talent coming in. Now, we did have quite a few seniors that are leaving this year, but we also were able to incorporate a lot of young talent this year due to some injuries and stuff like that. Riley Engel, our quarterback, will be coming back next year and has showed tremendous growth this year. Defensively, players like Hunter Hanger will be back, who had a terrific year. I think he finished somewhere in the top of the district for sacks. They really bought into Mac. I think that the fans and the players have bought into his program, and I do believe, especially the freshmen who had a really good season, are coming in, and they're going to want to get in on it, because I think that's a problem when the freshmen come over. You lose a lot of those guys in the hallways, and I don't think that that's the case for Franklin County. Now, do they come back next year and do they win more than 5 or 6 games? I don't know. They're still playing that region, so that really competitive region. But I think you're on the up out of the season and on for next season.
Well, things have to feel pretty good at Tullahoma. I mean, after losing 21 straight games to finish up 5-5. I mean, and realistically had a good opportunity to get in the playoffs.
They did. They just got to learn from that. And some of these juniors have to learn from that and incorporate that into next season, carry that over. Okay, we can't make these mistakes at these points in these games. So hopefully they learn from it, and hopefully they're able to get some more one more region win, because they only got one this season.
That's part of the positive in any college or games, is having your young players getting that lead, so you can get your young players in. To get some experience to move into the future. And unfortunately, like Tullahoma, a lot of times they didn't have that opportunity.
No, they didn't.
And I don't think Franklin County had that opportunity a whole lot other than injury helped them.
Yeah. Well, and the coach situation also didn't help things to have a coach kind of rotating about every year and a half.
No, yeah, I would
it
agree with
doesn't
that.
help. But I think for me and Zach, both we can both say it's probably been one of the most exciting seasons of football that I've been able to experience.
I mean, and if you look at
years.
Coffee County going 3-7, they won the 3 games they
Yeah.
probably should have won. Was competitive in a couple of games that we probably picked them not to win. It's just
a single game stands out.
yeah, and it's just a very tough region for them. So moving forward for these guys, I just see it's just going to constantly be an uphill battle.
Yeah, you talk about what they're losing to with the
Amari.
Yeah. No, not Amari.
Alante.
Taylor.
He rushed for like,
I had the bird.
I'm
Yeah.
exhausted right now.
like
So.
5 touchdowns in the game the other day. Or
Yeah,
more.
he just went off against White County, so
So-
that's going to be a tough adjustment for
Let's
Coffee
talk
County.
about playoffs this week. More counties in, and 1A, of course, is big around here. But Collinwood is going to be playing Moore County. They're 6-4, and Moore County, I think, was 7-3 at the number 2 seed. That game's going to be going on this weekend. Fayetteville will be at Huntington. Huntington is 10-0, so Fayetteville's going to have their work cut out for them. Shelbyville got the number 2 seed, wasn't it? But they're playing against Hillsboro on 5A action. That's not going to be an easy game. Hillsboro 6-4. That's basically our local teams. We go a little more local. Also, that's in that 1A region. South Pittsburgh is the number 1 seed. They're 10-0, and they usually always have a pretty good team.
Yeah.
We play in Monterey, number 4 seed. Of course, that's at home for South Pittsburgh. Westmoreland is the number 3 seed. We'll be taking on Marion County, who's the number 2 seed in 2A action, and Sequatchie County, which is somewhat close to us, is in 3A action, and a number 4 seed taking on Red Bank at the number 1 seed. So some of these teams have their work cut out for them this weekend. Hopefully we'll have good news next weekend talking playoffs. But until then, I think Moore County has the best chance to move on, possibly Shelbyville, and, of course, South Pittsburgh. With that being said, anything else you guys want to add about high school football before we move on to discuss college?
No.
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 All right. Well, we're looking forward to a whole new season here. Good luck, all seniors and all younger classmen moving up next year. Do your teams proud. Let's talk college for a minute. Last week, Zach, you irked up a game on me there. You went 5-3. Callie, you and I went 4-4.
Yeah.
We all would have done a little better if Ole Miss would have knew how to
And
keep
TCU.
a 30-something point lead. But yeah, I think we all picked TCU as well.
Yeah.
But upsets have been a thing this week. It's hard to say it's an upset. Like Iowa State's ranked number 15 now, I think, somewhere like 12 maybe. So it's hard to call it an upset when it is a top 25 team. Let's talk UT. UT gets 4 turnovers in that game.
Yeah.
Okay, and they still cannot beat Kentucky. And Kentucky didn't even turn. I mean, Tennessee don't even turn the ball over once. That is, I'm sorry.
It's atrocious. Yeah, call it what it is. It's terrible. I mean,
from an outsider, we're both Tennessee. You're an outsider. What do you think?
Well, I turned on the game for about 5 minutes, and I saw the opening drive for Kentucky where they fumbled the ball, and then Tennessee has to settle for a field goal. That's just inexcusable.
Yeah.
Inexcusable right there. You have to put that in for 7 points. And so I was kind of roasting Butch for not going for it on 4th down. I said, you need to get this touchdown right here. You already have it deep in their territory. Go for it.
Nobody gets a touchdown, but you need the win, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to win. I mean, they did kind of the same thing that Kentucky did against Florida. They tried to drive down at least twice and did not score any points. And I knew that was going to come back and shoot him in the foot. It did. Kentucky scored last and was able to run the clock, take time out the rest of the game. So I almost think it almost feels like he's trying to get himself fired. And then we see what happened with Brett Kendrick. And of course, there's still a lot of speculation around that. If I don't know who that is, it was an offensive lineman who said he had concussion symptoms, was telling people that he was feeling woozy and nobody took him out until he finally threw up, and then they finally take him out of the game. Butch comes yesterday and says that's not his call to make, to take players like that out of the game, which I call.
He's the head coach.
Exactly. I don't agree. I can't say that on the air is what I call it, but yeah, it almost at this point it feels like he's trying to get himself fired.
Well, and Florida fired McElwain, or McElwain. I think it was kind of a mutual agreement.
Yeah, it was either. I think it was either.
But
yeah,
I want to put this out there to everyone that's listening to our show, and it's probably maybe 6 people. Don't threaten to kill your coach, even if you don't like him.
Yeah, and there's still speculation
Unless you
as
know whether or
to.
not that was true or not, whether or not he made that.
I think that,
and that's one of the big reasons that I keep hearing, or that some people are.
Well, but there are people out there.
Well, yeah, there are people that do that, but I don't. Now, I think the big thing was that actually going on? Because, and then once that happened, I think the water was already bad as it was. He'd been having issues with the administration.
Would UT consider picking up McElwain?
Oh, why would you do that?
No, I don't think
No.
they're trying
he didn't do a bad job.
He didn't do a good job either.
Yeah, but he was highlighted because of his offensive experience with Alabama and down at Colorado State, and he didn't do anything with that offense down there in Florida. I know he was.
They won
battle
2
playing
SEC champions, or two East divisions.
Yeah, but that was with the
Wasn't
very
against his
down
offense,
east.
so.
Yeah.
And an already
then
strong team.
But he already he got annihilated in the championships both times. Alabama made an example out of them.
Yeah, but I mean, Alabama's
If
making an
you
example out of everybody.
Well, yeah, but I know. I think if you win the East, then you should be able to go into and compete.
Kirby Smart's got Georgia turned back.
Yeah, but no, Georgia. There was nothing wrong with Georgia to begin with.
Well, I think having Georgia being healthy, I think that's probably.
Well, maybe so, but that was one. Well, that was bad luck. Poor Nick Chubb, I think, had the worst luck for 2
Well, I think
years.
Georgia's had some bad luck when it comes to running backs.
Yeah, but I also think that cover was not there in the least. Mark Rigg owned the recruiting in Georgia. Anybody will tell you that. And I think that cover was
but Mark Rigg was a good coach.
He was a great coach,
yeah. He's done in Miami already.
Exactly.
So.
And he just wasn't winning enough in their eyes.
Yeah.
And so they brought on Kirby Smart, who it's always also important to point out that Kirby Smart had the SEC experience.
Well, Jumbo Fisher be available.
Yeah, I know. That whole buyout deal is he's locked and loaded.
Yeah, but I think they're like 2-6 on the year.
Yeah, but he's not
one down here. I don't.
All right, let's talk about Ohio State. You guys picked Penn State in that game, and I took Ohio State. And guess what? Ohio State came back to
single point.
Yeah, so I had bragging rights on that one. We all picked TCU to win. However, Zach, you picked Iowa State as your silly underdog pick or your upset alert. And Iowa State did beat TCU, so that was a good call.
That's 2 big wins that Iowa State has on the season.
Yeah.
And right now, I was going to mention, and let's talk about it briefly before we go straight to our picks, because we are starting to run a little long because of Houston. Zach's Houston rant. Yeah. SEC is now sitting at number 1 and number 2, and Georgia is actually the number 1 team.
Yeah, I was going to say they were already locked and loaded when Smart took over. It's just this is not a big surprise to me.
Mm-hmm.
that they're sitting where they said. They've all but earned it.
They right now they're both the 2 undefeated teams in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember someone else is undefeated out there.
I mean, yeah, I think so, but
I don't think anybody else had.
I think there were the 1 and 2 spot. Of course, I would have switched them around, but Alabama up 1 and Georgia 2.
Yeah, they don't play each other this year, do they?
Nope,
No.
in the SEC championship.
Well, I think probably the reason why Alabama just comes down to power rankings, that Georgia has probably played maybe a couple more stronger teams, and I think
that's
West,
what it came down to.
the West is a little weaker. Alabama's got a big game this week.
Here's an interesting question for you guys. If the season plays out like we think it will, where Alabama and Georgia remain undefeated heading into the SEC championship game, you got to think that both teams, regardless of that outcome, and if it's a close game, you got to think both teams are in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
I would think. Yeah,
I would think so. I don't think.
I think you're potentially still. I mean, it's hard to say losing to Alabama by 1 point or losing to Georgia by 2 points knocks you out of contention for the playoff. How far above Clemson are they right now when it looks at that ranking?
Yeah.
I mean, Clemson had a pretty shabby loss to
Yeah.
Syracuse, yeah.
I mean, that got beat by MTSU.
Of
Yeah.
course, Oklahoma's one loss is to Iowa State, and that's not looking like a terrible
No,
loss. right now.
no, it's really
You're
depends.
hoping that Iowa State keeps winning
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
loss doesn't look near as bad as the loss to Syracuse. All right, let's talk picks this week, and because everybody probably gets bored with us after about 20 minutes.
Right, 20 minutes.
Yes, we're right at it. All right. I would have put this on there 3 weeks ago, but now we might as well. Florida at Missouri. Zach, what do you think?
I don't really know what to think of this game. I want to say Missouri. Something just tells me to go Missouri on this one. They're playing at home. Florida just lost their head coach, but of course that could pep up Florida.
Missouri knows how to score.
Do they have enough defense?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that would
But
be
Florida's
my
offense is questionable at best. I go with Missouri. I'm never.
I'm actually going to go with Florida. I think in these kind of situations, they tend not even Florida, but just a team tends to rise up and rally behind the interim coach that's put into place. Let's go to our next big game this week. Penn State at Michigan State. Michigan State was one of our upset choices last week, and they got upset.
Yeah.
Callie, what do you think? Penn State?
Well, I'm gonna go.
Both of them lost.
Yeah, both of them lost. I'm on Michigan State. You moved Penn over on the side, and the only reason is because I don't have to pick Penn State. Probably should for the numbers, but whatever.
Yeah.
Principal pick.
This was one I had to flip a coin on. I'm going with Penn State. I don't think they'll get beat back-to-back weeks, but of course this is a Michigan State team that already beat Michigan earlier this year. So.
Yeah, Michigan I think was a little weaker. I think Michigan State was riding the wave, and the wave has now come to an end, and Penn State's going to win this one, and I think they'll probably win by at least 2 touchdowns. Number 6, Clemson at number 20, the real deal, NC State. NC State did get beat by Notre Dame, but I think they've proven they deserve to be where they're at number 20. Zach, what do you think?
I'm going Clemson on this one. I don't think that they're going to lose for the rest of the season, just my opinion. So I'm liking Clemson in this one, in a close game.
I agree with you, Zach. I think it will be a close game, and I think NC State can win. But I'm going to take Clemson in a close game.
I'm going to take Clemson as well. A close game, though. I think this was one of the better ones of the weekend.
Well, NC State has a pretty good defense.
Yeah.
All right, we'll skip over to Zach's favorite team. Let's go down to Virginia Tech at number 9, Miami. Callie.
Oh, I think Miami. Yeah. They're just on a wave right now. And
I haven't seen that much out of Miami the last couple of
Well, yeah, they haven't.
They've won, and you got to win, but they haven't won impressively, and it's been against teams that probably they should have won impressively.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Zach?
I'm going Miami on this one. I think being at home is the biggest key here, and but I haven't been too impressed with Miami. They barely squeaked by Florida State how many ever odd weeks ago, but something tells me to go Miami in this one.
The Miami-Florida State game is always a huge rivalry anyway, so I think that's a tough game to judge. But I think if you squeak by Wake Forest, I'm going Miami, but I honestly think Virginia Tech can win this game. That might be one of my upset picks. Arizona, number 23 at USC. Callie, I know you're going to go USC, right?
I guess. Because they're at home. That's the only reason why. But every time I freaking pick them, they lose.
All right.
Well, I'll join you in that misery and go to USC as well.
All right. Zach's going to go USC, and I'm going Arizona to pull the upset. Not really an upset, I guess. All right. We'll do LSU at Alabama since there's a little. LSU's back to number 19. They're at Alabama at number 1. LSU's got pretty good defense, struggles a little bit on offense.
Yeah.
What do you think, Zach?
Bama rolls all the way.
Oh, yeah. They may hang with them in the first quarter, but I think that trails off.
I think they'll hang in the first half. I think
Yeah.
Alabama wears on them, and I'm going to go Alabama and probably by 2 touchdowns.
I can't see an upset. I just can't.
So this one's going to be interesting. Oklahoma, number 8, at number 11, Oklahoma State. We'll start with Cal.
I'm going to pull the upset of Oklahoma State over.
Get it home.
Gundy going to get it.
Gundy in that mullet.
Because the mullet's going to take it home. I just think it's more fun to pick my Gundy.
I will pick next. That way you can go last. I'm going Gundy. I'm going the
Look
mullet.
at-
Well,
Mullet man.
He's a man.
it wouldn't. Yeah, he's a man. He's 40. Probably older than that. Well, Boomer Senior all day.
Oh, of course. I would have thought less if you had you not picked up the Oklahoma.
And I picked against OU at times. I picked them
Yeah, you
against.
picked Texas, I think, last year. Texas pulled the upset last year.
So, but I like Oklahoma.
Heck, I
And
like
Texas is one of
Tennessee.
Texas is one of the games I almost put on here because they're playing at TCU.
Mhm.
Texas has played very well.
Yeah.
So some of our upsets, we had Texas at TCU maybe this week, Southern Miss at UT. I can see that. Southern Miss's record's not that bad.
No.
And
That's why I'm
UT
not-
apparently doesn't know how to win. Auburn at Texas A&M. Iowa State at West Virginia, who just fell out of the polls. Oregon at Washington was another one. And South Carolina at Georgia. You know, Georgia coming off a big win. South Carolina's not a bad team.
You're crazy. No.
So if I was actually picking one, I would think this.
Yeah, Texas at TCU. I say Texas. Well, at TCU though.
And TCU
I wasn't
really
impressed
ticked
with
off after
TCU.
coming off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know they're going to be ticked off.
Yeah.
Callie's going to take Southern Miss over UT.
No, I'm not. No, I'm done picking. I'm
Well-
done picking Tennessee game.
You guys are trying to decide. I got mine already. I think West Virginia beats Iowa State.
And that was actually the one I was fixing to say because West Virginia's not a bad team.
No.
Iowa
Yeah, I'll
State's-
take that one too.
Iowa
I
State's
just
on this
don't.
extreme high after winning two
Exactly.
big games.
Yeah, put me on that.
And I think that's your best chance for an upset this week. All right, let's talk Titans real quick. They didn't have anything going on last week.
Nope.
Titans at home versus the Baltimore Ravens this week. I still don't think Marcus Mariota's 100% completely healed. They're throwing a lot of stuff about this Corey Davis being back now.
That's a big deal for him, especially if he has to be a pocket quarterback. You want all the receivers, you want healthy, so getting Davis back is extremely helpful for Mariota. I feel good about the Titans in this one. I think Baltimore's been so inconsistent this season that
Well, that is a scary thing about Baltimore when they're good.
when they're good, but they
They're good.
haven't been good.
Yeah, well, I mean, they won 40-0,
Yeah.
last, and then they've had some extra rest. They had the Thursday night game.
Yeah,
So they've had 9 days off. Yes, the Titans have had.
yeah. They were also playing Miami in that Thursday night football game. So no.
You know what this talk always reminds me of? I got to get my fantasy football team ready. What do you think? Yeah, anything?
I'm not. I'm going to sit over here and see what they do.
Well, I think if the Titans lose this game, they will not make the playoffs.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. This is a game that's kind of a must-have and I will be there on the sidelines on Sunday. I'm expecting to be there on the sidelines at least. So I'm hoping to see a Titans victory. That'd be ideal.
I think we all would like to see a Titans
Oh, yeah.
victory. I think that Nashville itself, after the Predators last year, we
Mhm.
deserve a playoff game. It'd be nice if we had a home playoff game. Right now,
Yeah.
they're sitting in first, but I'm gonna tell you, man, this Deshaun Watson he's
It's the real deal.
I got him on my fantasy
He
team.
is.
He's been
It's
live
over
there. And Jacksonville is just a quarterback away from.
Yeah, you never know what Jacksonville team's going to show up on that day.
Yeah,
So,
well, you never know what quarterback in the last
Exactly.
round. So, they make a pick before the trade deadline for quarterback, and they could be really dangerous. Well, folks, we appreciate you joining us once again. Zach loves his Houston Astros, and you can always reach Zach at.
reach me on Twitter at Zach Birdsong. And sorry to everybody that had to go through my World Series moans and groans and complaints and excitement. So
Yes, it was fun listening to you on Facebook.
I've been completely quiet about Tennessee this year.
Yeah.
And at NewsGal27 on
And you
Twitter.
can always call us here. Don't forget, we're always looking for sponsors. If anybody wants to come in, sit down, and have a talk with us, a guest picker, maybe we could call it.
Yeah, we can do that.
Maybe we could bring somebody in. Folks, we appreciate you joining us, and have a good day.